Hoodie Vert in the building. All right, time to start talking. What's up, bro? You will know how real a friend is by how much criticism he gives you in your day-to-day life. For me, I sucked at taking criticism since I was a kid. From parents, from friends. I always thought they were being like threatening towards me and trying to be offensive and trying to roast me and violate me a lot of times, and I get it. Some of them were. A lot of the times when you get criticized by a male figure, yeah, they may laugh. They may look at you with an intent to maybe make other people laugh, which of course, fuck them. But that person may be talking about an area that you should improve in. The criticism of other men is so valuable. Because if a man is a real man, if a friend is a real friend, he will tell you about your flaws. And obviously he'll do it in like a respectful way. But if you've been doing the wrong things, if you've been slacking on going to the gym, if your body looks a little pudgy, if you've been losing definition in your muscles, facial hair is kind of unkept, if you haven't went to the barber in a long time, or you're feeling tired all the time from your job that you don't like, you know what a good friend would do? Well, what I would do, his physique doesn't look good. I would tell my friend that we need to get to the gym. What I like to do when I give information, I like to do it in like a humor way. Like humor is the way that I communicate the most. If you know me, if you met me in person, I like to communicate through humor. I like to use that to get my point across. Even when I'm having like a serious conversation or like a motivational conversation like this, I like to incorporate humor because nobody wants to watch a video for 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes and not laugh one time, or not feel relatable or not feel motivated, and still some type of emotion. You bring up some type of emotion through this process. And so I bring up a little bit of relatability. When I was in high school, there would be, I know this is going to sound corny, but the alpha male guys, on my sports team, I didn't quite understand it until like later on. And they had this mentality where they would talk shit to each other and they would criticize each other and they would openly talk about each other's flaws and they would just be okay with that. And I was kind of off-put by that because, when I was a kid, I was bullied for a large amount of my childhood. So I take it to heart if they talk about me, at some point, I'm going to be the next target when it comes to getting roasted, So they talk about, your hairstyle, or they call you ugly, or they talk about how many girls you can get. They talk about all that stuff. I didn't realize that this is how men talk. This is how young men talk. This is how, have you heard women shit test men? They test your masculinity. Well, this is kind of like a shit test that guys give to their male friends to test their masculinity, to test their strength, to test how they respond to like adversity. And if you close down when someone criticizes you, like your father or your friend, and you close down, you become quiet, you kind of get this like anxiety feeling in your gut. You don't want to talk, or you have nothing to say. A guy like me, or those guys back then when I was in high school, they could sense that weakness. Now, obviously, I could make up for it, because I was good at basketball. I could, when I got on the court, I was one of the best on the court. I could make up for that. But when it came to like being like a man, a young man, being strong, struggled in that area. And I took the persona of, an outer alpha male, but like an inner beta male. I was weak. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I couldn't take the constructive criticism that the people in my life were trying to give me, such as my coaches, such as my friends, my father, my mother, my sister, even my brother. Just being open to that and not taking it so personally, because that was a big problem I had, was taking criticism that I had personally and then talking back to the criticism that I was getting. When you're in a good masculine friendship, when you have a brotherhood, when you're brothers with someone, not by blood, but just your brothers, and even if you are blood, you guys should develop the habits of critiquing each other's habits. Celebrate when they do good things. Reading, meditating, going to the gym, getting stronger, validate them. But if they're slacking, back to when I was saying about if my friend had physique was lacking, I would tell him. And I would tell him, we need to get in the gym. What day are you free to go to the gym? Or if he's telling me about, a problem in his life, I would tell him to meditate. I would tell him to journal about it. But I can only do so much that I can do. Basically what I'm saying is you need to be able to accept the criticism from other men. Don't be sensitive. If you can kind of tell like a person is like genuinely trying to talk about your flaws in front of others or in front of girls to try and get them to laugh, you can kind of see it. You're not dumb. You can see it. They look like kind of an asshole. Then that I wouldn't look at that as someone you would trust, because that was kind of the persona of someone that, the people that I was dealing with in high school. But if it's a friend that you've known for a long time and he tells you something, that doesn't make him fake. It doesn't mean he genuinely is trying to help you. And that's the way I was. And I've lost a lot of friends that way, or people have looked at me differently because I wanted to improve and I wanted to be surrounded by other guys who wanted to improve. And some of the guys I was surrounded by didn't want to improve on the way that I want to build a physique. I want to get better at sports. I want to attract women. And they didn't want that. They want to continue playing video games, continue being weird, goofy. And I didn't want that. Even from just the content I was creating, I stopped consuming mindless reaction videos on YouTube or the goofy shit. And I started watching more masculine YouTubers that told me the stone cold truth. YouTubers that told me what I needed to hear instead of what I wanted to hear. And it ended up benefiting me more. Even though sometimes these YouTubers may hurt my feelings, and maybe sometimes I may hurt your feelings, because I have a unfiltered kind of approach to teaching things. I'm not helping you out if I'm sugarcoating things. I'm not helping you out if I'm telling you what you want to hear so that you'll keep coming back to my videos. And neither will those YouTubers that I used to watch or those podcasts that I used to watch. They wouldn't have benefited me at all. And I definitely wouldn't have kept coming back if I sensed that their content was inauthentic. I surrounded myself with guys who told me the truth, whether it was in business, whether it was in sports, whether it was in life. This is all a part of my own self-improvement journey. Being able to take criticism and even being able to be critical of yourself and understanding that the growth never stops is a skill. It's a skill that I've had to work on, and I've definitely gotten better. And you can see it by just the people that I surround myself with every single day. The way that I communicate with my father, the way that I communicate with everybody else. They tease me and they tell me what's wrong with me, but I tease them back. So that's my video. Subscribe for more self-improvement content like this. Stay blessed, stay disciplined, stay locked in.